Hello everyone and welcome here, and thank you so much for 100,000 subscribers. I am mind blown, and I never in a million years thought that I would have 100,000 subscribers or that I would get a YouTube plaque. It's absolutely bonkers, but I am so grateful and thankful to you guys. So I thought that I would do a little 100K Q&A with the questions that I got from you guys on Instagram and some here from the community on YouTube. And also soon I am planning on doing a really big yarn giveaway, but I'm still waiting for a certain package to arrive for me to be able to do that. But keep an eye out because I'm going to be doing it very soon. So without further ado, let's get into this Q&A. Some of the questions are fun, lighthearted, and just little things about me. And then another portion of this video is going to be about how I started Hayhay Crochet and how I run a business, how I make a living wage with it, especially since all of my patterns are free. But anyway, let's just get into this Q&A. I have all the questions written down here on my phone. First question is, how old are you? I just turned 24 in February. I still feel like I'm 16, 17 maybe. Next question is, I have noticed you mention a husband before. You seem so young. When did you get married? Yes, I am married. I have been married since I was 20, and in September I'll have been married for 4 years to the most amazing, perfect man I've ever known. Did you go to college? No, I did not. I planned on going to college, but when I graduated high school, I ended up moving in with my grandparents to take care of them, and then I lived with them up until I got married, so about 3 years. And then after I got married, I didn't feel like pursuing college anymore. Are you a Christian? Yes, I am. What is your favorite daily routine? Coffee in the morning, and then my quiet time. Those are probably the only really two things I do consistently every day. How old were you when you started crocheting? I was about 12, I'm pretty sure, 11 or 12, somewhere in that range. What made you want to start crocheting? My mom got these 2 big trash bags full of yarn from a friend's grandma who passed away, and I was like, I want to try to do something with all this yarn. I know I want to crochet because I don't have any money to buy gifts for people, so I was like, oh, I'll just make them gifts because I have literally, I thought, a lifetime supply of yarn. I mainly wanted to learn how to crochet so I would be able to make gifts for family and friends. What do you do for a living? This, YouTube and blogging, but I'll talk more about that later on in the video. What made you want to shave your hair off? Okay, if you don't know, I shaved my hair off sometime in May, I think, of last year. I did it for many reasons. 1, I didn't really have any attachment to my hair because I never really liked it. 2, it was badly bleached and damaged. And 3, I was a little bit depressed at the time, so I just off with the hair. That ain't that big of a deal to me. Next is, I see that you post a lot with your sisters. How many siblings do you have? I have 8 siblings. I have 7 sisters and 1 brother, and my 1 brother is the youngest of the whole bunch. And I have 2 wonderful sisters-in-law. Why is your business called Hayhay Crochet? It is because of my amazing, wonderful, beloved nieces. They couldn't say Heather, so they started calling me Hayhay, and it's my most favorite name that I've ever been given. And I thought, what better name to call this business than Hayhay Crochet? And I had some help with my family on coming up with the name. It was gonna be much more professional and be like Heather Brooke Designs. I can insert some of the logos I made, first prototypes of the Hayhay Crochet logo. But yeah, I love the name because every time I see and look at Hayhay, it makes me think of my amazing nieces. I have 1 nephew too, but he doesn't call me Hayhay. He calls me Aunt Heather because he's very proper. My favorite thing about my life is my family. I adore them. They're the best thing. I love my family. What knitting needles do you recommend for beginners? Recently, as of last year, I got into knitting, for some of you who may not know, and the number one thing I recommend is using wooden needles. A lot of people recommended that to me, and I didn't know why, because I don't prefer wooden crochet hooks, so I was like, why wooden needles? But it'll be way easier to knit because the wood has more grip on it, and I didn't think much of it because I only ever knit with wooden needles. But once I tried to knit with metal needles, it was slipping and sliding all around the needles, and I did not like it at all. 100% recommend, if you're starting out, use wooden needles because your yarn won't slip. It won't be as hard to work with, in my opinion. Can you please make free knit patterns? I hope to in the future. It's a little bit of a learning curve trying to find out. It's just different than making crochet clothing patterns, but I am working on 2 designs right now that I might release. I don't know yet. I'm still working on them, and they're not perfect, and I keep frogging and remaking them because I don't like them, but hopefully in the future I will release knitting patterns. What's the hardest part about writing patterns? It's making that pattern into multiple sizes, like doing all of the math and everything for it. Math is not my strong suit. What is the hardest project you have ever taken on? It is the ficus sweater by Reef Knit. Nothing against the pattern. It was amazing and like easy to follow, but it is not easy to work with multiple skeins of yarn at once and they all get tangled and everything. It really tested my patience. The pattern is amazing. I love it. I love the outcome. How is your mood blanket coming along? Well, I am currently like 2 weeks behind, but other than that, it's coming along great. Oh, something in my eye. What is your favorite yarn brand? That would probably be Wool in the Gang or Drops yarn. I've been using so much of those 2 brands' yarns recently. I love them. And Drops makes a lot of the same types of yarn as Wool in the Gang, so if you're looking for a cheaper price point, you can get it from Drops Yarn. And a lot of people ask where I get my Drops yarn. I usually get it off of Amazon or Etsy. What are some of the hand stretches you do when your hands and wrists start to hurt? First thing I recommend is stretching before you start, and then I do a little bit of these, and then a little bit of these, a little bit of these. And then just take breaks. I'm preaching to myself because it's so hard for me to do, so I'll just do tons of stretches and stuff, like trying to relieve my hands, especially with knitting. I've been on my knitting grind lately and I can't get myself to stop, so I'm constantly having to tell myself to stop and have been doing more hand stretches than usual. And also compression gloves are great. What is your favorite holiday? It's either Thanksgiving or the 4th of July because that's when all of my family gets together and we have the best time ever. It's the best. What was your very first project? I wish I had a picture of it. It was so bad, but I made a macaroon. But like the pattern I followed, the macaroon was supposed to be like this big. It turned out like this big, but I kept it for many years and I like put my crochet hooks into like the top of it, and that's where I stored them. Yeah, it was a little very badly put together pink macaroon. And let me tell you, making that macaroon, I had like 10 breakdowns and cried so much because I could not figure out how to crochet. But I eventually figured it out. I persevered and here we are today. Another question is, how did you learn how to crochet? And that is YouTube. YouTube can teach you so many things. That's also where I learned to knit. You can find even more tutorials and patterns and stuff than when I started Okay, sorry, my camera just cut out on me. We're back. And what I was saying, I think, was that learn from YouTube. There's so many more resources and videos and patterns and all of that than there was over 10 years ago when I started. So yeah, YouTube. Unless you know someone who can crochet and teach you, then that would be really cool. Which one of your patterns is your favorite? Well, currently it is my pattern that I just came out with, and it's the fairy granny shrug. I'm obsessed with it. I want to make like 3 or 4 more just for fun and then like sell them. If you watch that video, I made 5 of them for that video and I love them because I couldn't stop making them, but I also wanted to test different types of yarn. The Fairy Granny Shrug is my favorite pattern to date. Do you think that you will ever sell any of your finished projects? I have been considering it, but I don't know what to sell them on. So if you have a resale site that you use more than others, please let me know, because when I asked on my Instagram, it was pretty split between Depop, eBay, and Poshmark. Let me know which one you use the most. What are some of your favorite anime? Some of them is probably Lucky Star, Laid Back Camp, Yona of the Dawn, Kami-sama Kiss, Spy Family. Yeah, those are some of them. I have a lot of others, but those are what come to mind right now. All right, now we're going to get into probably why you're watching this video, and it's the more business type questions and how you can do exactly what I'm doing. And the first question is, how do you make money with your crochet career? The answer is I make it with 1, my blog, 2, YouTube, and 3, sponsorships. Like today's sponsor, Surfshark. You may be asking, what is Surfshark and what exactly does it do? Well, Surfshark VPN can do quite a few things, such as masking what you do online through a VPN or virtual private network that keeps you safe and private by covering up everything that you do online. Like when your device connects to the internet, all information is in a way blurred out or encrypted. So anyone who might be trying to snoop on you won't be able to see what you are doing or where you are doing it from. Other things you can do with Surfshark include connecting to popular websites with Surfshark and still getting amazing deals on websites like Amazon or AliExpress, even if they're blocked in your country or when you're traveling. And another thing that I think that's really cool that you can do, you can easily access and unblock streaming platforms, plus get different content libraries from around the world. Like, for example, if you live in Spain, you can connect to a Canadian server and get access to the biggest movie catalog on Netflix. So if you're interested and would like to try a VPN, you can get Surfshark VPN at surfshark.deals/hayhaycrochet and use the promo code hayhaycrochet for 83% off and 3 extra months for free. You can check out that link below, and thank you so much to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. Okay, now more about how I make a living wage with my blog and YouTube and how I'm able to give my patterns away for free. So I do this by how I make money is through ad revenue. So on my blog, I have an ad provider on there that just while you're on my blog, I get paid like per view and click of those ads. And the same with YouTube, I get paid from the ad revenue on my videos. So when I started out, I got paid nothing. I had to come out with several patterns and apply and get rejected by Google AdSense for a very long time until they finally accepted me. I think I got rejected by them like 3 or 4 times, but I finally got accepted, and my first like $3 from them was the most mind-blowing amazing thing ever. And for a long time I would get $5 to $10 a day from my blog, but after about 6 months I was able to apply for a better ad provider, and that is what I am with now, and it's Mediavine, and it is way better than Google AdSense was. But I mean, nothing against Google AdSense, but the payout is a million times better. That's how I make money with my blog and YouTube. So that's what everyone's asking, that like, how do you do this for free? How do you make money from it? That is it. You can also go the route where you sell your patterns on like Etsy, Ribbler, Ravelry. I don't know how to say it. But I was too scared to sell my patterns because I was afraid they weren't good enough, and if people got upset with me that the pattern wasn't good, they would like come for me or demand their money back or something. I don't know. I was too scared, and I was like, if I give my patterns away for free, then no one can get as mad at me if they don't like the pattern or it didn't turn out how they wanted because they got it for free. So I wasn't confident enough, so that's why I didn't sell them. But I am planning on probably turning a few of my patterns into PDFs and selling them, just because a lot of people ask for a PDF version that they can download, and I might charge like a small fee for that. But yeah. Another question is, how did you grow your YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, etc.? And I guess it would be with consistency. When I first started, I did not have a job. I just recently quit my job, and I wanted to try to take on being a blogger, YouTube content creator full time. So when I decided that I wanted to do that, I put everything into it. I was like, I'm going to try to be as consistent as possible, and I'm going to put my content out there in as many places as possible so I have the chance to be seen. So when I started, I was posting a TikTok and Instagram reel every day almost, promoting my blog and YouTube. So I was basically just using my Instagram and TikTok as I was using it as advertisement to get people to my blog and YouTube. And with consistency, I eventually started growing. So yeah, my main tip for you is to stay consistent. Not saying that you have to post every day, because I don't do that anymore. That was way too much on me, especially if you're going to school or you have a job. Most people wouldn't have time for that, but I didn't, and I really, really wanted to be able to make this my job, so I put everything into it. Again, the first 6 months, I did not get paid anything, so I was working for nothing, but I knew that maybe if I kept going at it, that it would eventually pay off, and thankfully it did. I also don't come out with patterns as much as I did. When I first started, I think I was coming out with like 1 to 2 patterns a month, and that really burnt me out. The revenue I get from my blog and YouTube are much more consistent, and I have enough content on both of them where I don't have to post as much. What does your filming equipment and setup look like? Well, through the last year and a half, all I have ever used is this iPhone 11. Oh, I'm getting a call. This iPhone 11. I have built my YouTube off of this baby. And that is really all you need to start out, because just now, this is my first video that I am filming with this new camera that I got. Well, I mean, it's not new. I got it secondhand off of eBay. But yeah, I will have the name for it and the lens I'm using here on the screen. And then just the natural lighting from a window. That's basically all you need. So if you're wanting to start out, I'm proof that all you need is a phone, because I built this whole thing off of this. When did you start your YouTube? In August of 2021. What do you find the hardest / least fun part of your business / running a YouTube channel? Oh, I was getting tongue-tied. Probably overcoming myself, because before this Instagram, YouTube, all of that, you hardly would ever catch me in a picture or anything. I never took pictures, I never took videos of myself. I hated it. But as I was looking into starting this business and all that, I read several statistics that like, oh, your business can take off better if there's like a face behind the business and all that, and you need to show yourself and all that jazz. So I was like, okay, I'll try to overcome that. The first several videos and TikToks I took, I hated and I wanted to cry and I never wanted to post them, but then I got over myself and I posted them. And the more I did it, it got easier. Now I don't struggle with it as much as I did, but when I first started, it was a very hard hurdle to get over. How come you don't narrate your videos? I'm sure you're probably talking about my first several tutorials that I came out with, and the simple answer is I didn't like my voice, and I just get tongue-tied when I'm put on the spot and all that, as you can probably tell. And when I'm put on the spot, I don't know how to speak anymore. I can't speak English or properly. So I just didn't want to be made fun of. And people do sometimes make fun of it and all that, and it's not the best. But I mean, 99% of everyone is so kind. There's only like 0.01% of people that like to say not so nice comments about my speech. But yeah, I narrate them now because I've gotten over that. But when I started, I didn't want to be made fun of. How do you edit your photos and thumbnails? A lot of people, when they ask me this, like, how do you edit them? They are usually talking about like the doodles I put on them. And I use my iPad and use the app Procreate to doodle on my photos. But there's tons of doodling apps out there. You don't really have to use that, and you can even do it on your phone. But I used my iPad that I bought it like right when I got married with the job I had at the time, because I really wanted to get into digital art. I don't use it so much for that, but I use it a ton for my content creation. What is your method for pattern writing? Basically how I start every pattern I want to make, I make it, and as I'm making it, I write down everything that I'm doing. So I don't have any crazy special like method. It's just writing down as I go and trying to figure out what works, how to make the shape better. It's just basically you have to make it. And a lot of times when I'm making it, I frog it a lot. I take it out, redo it, take it out, redo it, take it out, redo it. You just gotta get through that. But eventually it comes into a pattern. So it takes a lot of time and trial and error. That is basically what I do. Tips for recording better TikToks, Reels, or YouTube videos. Just do it in front of a window on a sunny day. I will hardly ever record any content if it's not a sunny day and I'm not in front of a window. Your best friend is natural lighting. I guess that's all I gotta say about that. I want to create a website for myself, but I have no idea how to go about that. Any advice? I was very blessed that my husband built my website for me because he likes that kind of technical stuff. And yeah, I didn't build it myself, but I'll tell you what he used. He used WordPress, and what I use to host my website is Bluehost. But if you are a girly doing it by yourself, then I recommend websites like Universe or Squarespace because they are very user-friendly. You can build a beautiful website and it's way more user-friendly, I feel like. That's what I would have used if I didn't have my husband build it for me. I would have used one of those websites because I've heard so many good things about them. And watch lots of YouTube videos because that will get you far in life. What's the best advice you have for someone wanting to become a crochet content creator? Just create crochet content and don't be too hard on yourself of like, this has to look perfect, or even you don't even need like a finished project to be able to post about it. You can post your current whips, things you're working on. You just share it and try not to be too hard on yourself or thinking it has to be perfect, because that's how I started and it caused so much stress and it made me not even want to do it. But when I started to not care as much and just post to post, it was just much more fun to do. So yeah, just create content, create what you love, share what you're making, whether it's finished or not. Just don't stress too much about it because you will quickly make it not fun for yourself. All right, that's it for all of the questions. Thank you so much for sending them to me. And if you have any more questions, I can try to answer them down below. And if you want a more in-depth Q&A about how exactly I went about starting my blog and YouTube and everything, just more focused on the business aspect, let me know. Again, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much to Surfshark for sponsoring this video, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Bye!